friends, we wanted to share a quick story of how the Lord has been using us here and how your prayers are being answered. We've asked for a lot of prayer regarding relationships with people, that we would be able to make connections. So I just wanted to share a story real quick with you. So bear with me because there's a lot of details to it, and I'm sure I'll leave some out or forget some. But there's just so much in this story that God has already done, and we're really excited to see what else He does. So 2 weeks ago on Wednesday, Nick was at the school, and through circumstances, the gate was shut and he was inside the gate with his motorbike, and so he kind of got stranded inside while the staff that managed the gate were doing a meeting. And at the same time, one of the Thai staff from the cafeteria came out and was ready to leave and realized she was in the same situation, and so she struck up a conversation with Nick. And they got talking about the fact that she was a new believer, and she spoke really good English and was saying how she was working at the school for a short period of time, but this was actually her last week there. So she shared with him back and forth for about 20 minutes, and that was that. And Nick came home and shared that with me. And then the next day, Thursday, I was with my parents. And typically on Friday nights, we host a Sabbath dinner, and my parents come over for that most weeks. And so when I was with my parents on Thursday, my mom mentioned, oh, by the way, we're not able to make it for dinner tomorrow night. And I thought, oh, okay, no problem. But in my mind, I'm thinking, I have all the food for this meal already. Who can we invite instead who won't be offended by the last minute invitation? So I talked with Nick. We tried a couple of different families, but the short notice wasn't working and nobody was available to come. And so Friday, I had plans to meet a friend at a pool with all of our kids, and they have 5 kids, we have our 4, and so we met up at the pool, but I got really lost on the way there and ended up down this dirt road in our van. It was just a big mess, and I was praying through that drive, just asking the Lord to give me patience because it was stressful. I was late. I was supposed to be there at a certain time. So anyway, very late to the pool. And so when I got there, my friend and I were just kind of chatting, and we had talked, Nick and I had talked about potentially inviting their family over for dinner. And the whole time at the pool with her, I just kept feeling the Holy Spirit saying, no, not today. Don't invite them today. And I was having this conversation with the Lord in my head of, well, why not? I love this family. I would enjoy their company and their fellowship over tonight, but I let it go. Well, because we were so late, when my friend left with her kids, I thought, all right, I'm going to stick around a little bit longer with my kids and kind of get our money's worth here at the pool. And so we did. And so we were the only ones in the pool at this point. And this is like 20 minutes, 25 minutes away from our house, so it's not near our neighborhood necessarily. And as I'm just kind of monitoring the kids there, a woman comes up to the pool area, clearly looks a little bit lost, and I could tell she's obviously Asian, but she didn't look Thai. And so when she came up to me and started talking, I could also confirm that she was not Thai just from her accent. So we chatted for a little while, and she was looking around at houses in that area and was stopping to see if the restaurant next to the pool was open. And I said, you know, I'm not from this part of town and I'm not familiar with the restaurant, so I don't know, but we chatted about a bunch of other things. She had her daughter with her at the time, who was about to turn 4, and they spoke English very well. They're from China and we're living in Bangkok, and we're looking for a home here in Chiang Mai, and so that's why she was here. The whole time I'm talking to her, I just kept feeling the Holy Spirit prompting me to invite her to dinner. So this complete stranger, I have no connection to her, we don't have like a mutual friend or anything, but I was like, okay, Lord. So as we kind of wrapped up the conversation and she was ready to head out, I said, hey, you know, if you guys don't have any plans for tonight, would you be interested in coming to our house for dinner? And she said, oh yes, we would love that. So I gave her my address. I had also mentioned Grace International School just as a potential option, or hey, that's where we live, near Grace International School. And she wasn't familiar with it, so I sent her a link for it and a link for our address and location, and just mentioned, you know, she had said she was looking for a house with a pool in the neighborhood. I said, well, we don't have that, but there are houses available in our neighborhood for rent. Just wanted to let you know. Okay, so I messaged Nick after I leave the pool and I said, hey, by the way, invited a complete stranger to dinner tonight. And he said, oh, and I gave a little bit of context to it. And he said, well, what do you think about me inviting Nui, the Thai woman that I had met this week? And it was going to be her last day working at the school. So he invites her as well. And she says, yes, I'd love to come. And we have these two ladies coming over for dinner. One is Thai, speaks English well. One is Chinese, speaks English well. And obviously, English is our first language. And we had no idea what to expect from the dinner. But I just kept sharing with my kids, like, Amber is the name of the Chinese woman that I met. I said, Amber doesn't know anybody in Chiang Mai. And she said, oh, you're my first friend in Chiang Mai. And I said, if we hadn't been late, if we hadn't stayed longer at the pool, I never would have met her. She wouldn't be coming over for dinner. And if Dad hadn't gotten trapped inside the school property for that extra half an hour, he would have never met Nui or spoken with her. And she wouldn't be coming over for dinner. And who knows what God is going to do with this situation. So both women arrive for dinner, and Amber says to me, oh, I asked my friend about Grace International School. And she says, it's a Christian school. I'm Christian too. And she was saying that, she had come to faith a number of years ago, but was still kind of a baby Christian in her walk with the Lord, and was really excited about the potential of her daughter being able to go to Grace at some point. And so she said, you said there are houses in this neighborhood. I know there's not a pool, but I think maybe good friends and neighbors are more important than a pool. So can I see the houses? Is there the one next door? I said, yeah, the one next door to us, it's available for rent, but the owners don't live here, and so it's locked. It's fully furnished, and they've locked it, but we can go look in the windows. And again, I felt the Holy Spirit saying, don't wait until after dinner, go now. Dinner's ready, it's hot, we're all ready to sit down. And I thought, okay, let's just go look in the windows real quick. So we step outside, and no sooner do we get out the door than I see the homeowners pulling into the driveway of the house next door. I said, oh, hey, Linda, this is my friend Amber. She wants to see the house. Can we come in and see the house? Do you have renters? Is this a good time? Oh, yeah, come in. So we go into the house, and I sent Gray back to our house to let Nick know, hey, it's going to be a couple extra minutes while we look through. And Amber loved it. And she, did a quick tour of the house and said, yeah, I love it. I want to make an offer for a contract. And meanwhile, Nick is back at our house just next door, but Nui was sharing a lot of the things that were on her heart, the hard things that she'd been going through. And God was allowing Nick to be a great listener and encourager during that little conversation as well. So I have Amber and Linda exchange their contact information, and we go back to have dinner at the house. And the whole time Nick and I are trying to engage both women in conversation from two totally different backgrounds. And I'm asking Nui, so, Nick tells me this is your last day working at Grace. What's next for you? How will you have an income? And she said, well, I felt like when I was praying about the job here at Grace recently, I felt like God was showing me a vision of him closing the door. And when I talked with the woman that's discipling me, she encouraged me to follow that. And so I gave them my notice, so today is my last day. I'm not sure what I'm going to do for work, for income, but I will just continue to pray and ask God for direction. And so I was asking some of the things that she had done in the past, and she talked about working as a cook and a helper and a nanny, and these different kind of in-home services and jobs that she's done in the past, just to engage her in conversation and show our interest in her. And she asked a lot of really good questions about spiritual growth and what the Bible has to say about different things. So it was a great conversation with both women. Well, toward the end of the evening, the three of us women are talking at this point, and Amber says, Nui, you cook? And Nui says, yes, I cook. I cook Thai food and I cook all kinds of food. And Amber says, I need someone to come cook for me. I need somebody to help nanny with my daughter and to help me care for my home and to just be with me in my home. And Nui is like, what? And she looks at me and she says, is she offering me a job right now? And I was like, I am not in this, but it sure sounds like that's what's happening. And so they start talking with me about what is a fair wage for this kind of position, and going back and forth. And both women are like, this is amazing. I can't believe this is happening right now. You know, this morning Amber says, I didn't have a home. Now I'm going to be your neighbor. I didn't have friends. Now I have you as a friend. I met Nui, and Nui's saying, this is amazing. This morning I was leaving my job. I had no idea what was going to be next for me, how I would make an income. And now I come over for dinner and I'm being offered a job on the spot. And so both women left the dinner really encouraged. We were really encouraged by it as well, and just seeing how the Lord was moving. And I kept saying to my kids, like, look at what God is doing here, just because we were obedient to listen to the Holy Spirit. And whether Amber becomes my neighbor or whether Nui works for her or not, at least both women felt very heard and seen by the Lord during the whole day. And both said on multiple occasions that it just felt like God really loved them and was smiling on them. So that was encouraging for us to hear and to be able to be a part of it. Well, the next morning I get some messages from Nui, and this is now Saturday morning, just over a week ago. And Nui is talking with me about the potential job position and salary, and, you know, getting some feedback from me. And then Amber messages me and she says, yeah, you know, I think I'm going to move forward with renting the home. And so she talks with the homeowner, and sure enough, they are under a verbal agreement and ready to sign a contract. And then Amber and Nui discuss her job, and Amber officially offers her a position working for her. And that was just over a week ago. And then that very Tuesday, Amber and Nui drove down to Bangkok, packed up all of Amber's belongings and brought them back to Chiang Mai on Wednesday. And then they helped Amber move into her new house as our next door neighbor on Friday. So over the course of 1 week, she totally moved everything into the house next to us. So she is now our new neighbor. And not only that, but because Amber was expressing a real interest in growing in her walk with the Lord, and Nui is an excited new believer, the women are kind of working together in tandem to grow in their faith. And so Nui actually plays guitar, and when Amber discovered that, she said, oh, you know, you can play some worship songs. And so I went over there Tuesday morning, and the three of us ladies and Ren and Amber's daughter Nicole had a worship time together and shared some things from the Bible that God had been teaching me, and we were able to pray together. And we are going to make this a weekly thing now. So we have formed a small Bible study in the neighborhood, and I asked Nui if she would be interested in helping translate, if we can get other Thai people involved, like my house helper and my language buddy, because I don't speak enough Thai to be able to clearly translate biblical conversation yet, but Nui said she'd be happy to do that. So I'm also going to see if we can get our language buddy involved in that as well. Pime is her name. And today I did talk with Pime to see if she would like to get a Bible of her own, and she said she would love to. So I'm excited to see what the Lord has in store in the next weeks and months ahead. We're eager to be a part of whatever He wants for us as a family and as individuals. But I wanted to share this because it just has been a really exciting last couple of weeks as these things have unfolded. So thanks for bearing with the long story. I hope that was an encouragement to you as well.